Hello everyone, this is Gilgamesh V9, bringing you the third episode of my Mass Effect 3 multiplayer guides. Sorry for the delay. In this installment, I'll be covering everything about power combos. Let's get started. Power combos are a feature added in Mass Effect 3 that has drastically changed the way caster classes play. The basic idea is that certain powers, when used together on the same target, will create one of four combo reactions. These four types are Biotic explosions, Tech bursts, Cryo explosions, and Fire explosions. In order for a combo to occur, one power must be used as a primer and the other as a detonator. Not all powers can react with each other, so be aware of this before speccing your classes. Biotic explosions are the most common and easiest to create. The following powers can be used to prime a biotic explosion: Annihilation Field, Barrier when detonated, Biotic Sphere, Dark Channel, Lash, Lift Grenade, Pull, Reeve, Shockwave, Singularity, Smash, Stasis, and Warp. All of these primers can be detonated by the following detonator powers: Annihilation Field when detonated, Biotic Charge, Biotic Slash, Biotic Sphere on casting, Cluster Grenade, Concussive Shot, Lash, Lift Grenade, Nova, Phase Disruptor, Reeve, Shockwave, Smash, Throw, and Warp. Next up are Tech Bursts. Tech Bursts have the largest radius and are electrical in nature, so are great against the Geth and any shielded enemies. Tech Bursts are a bit harder to set up, as the primer effects have shorter duration than Biotic primers. The following powers can set up a Tech Burst: Arc Grenades, Disruptor Ammo, Energy Drain, Overload, Sabotage, Shadow Strike, Smash, and Submission Net. Those primers can be detonated to create a Tech Burst, using these powers: Biotic Charge, Carnage, Cluster Grenade, Combat Drone Death Explosion, Concussive Shot, Decoy Death Explosion, Electric Slash, Energy Drain, Frag Grenades, Homing Grenades, Incinerate, Lift Grenade, Nova, Overload, Proximity Mine, Shockwave, Slam, Staking Grenade, Throw, and Warp. The next type of combo is the Cryo Explosion. Cryo explosions are a bit unique among combo detonations, as they do not do much damage, but instead apply the chilling and/or freezing effect to enemies caught in the radius. Cryo explosions are difficult to cause, as the frozen target must be killed by the detonator power in order for the combo to detonate. This may lead to some confusion, as the kill feed will not display the enemy was killed by the explosion, instead it will show that it was killed by the detonator power. Following powers can be used to prime a cryo explosion: Cryo Ammo, Cryo Blast, Snap Freeze, which then can be detonated with these powers: Biotic Charge, Carnage, Cluster Grenade, Combat Drone Death Explosion, Concussive Shot, Decoy Death Explosion, Energy Drain, Frag Grenades, Incinerate, Lift Grenades, Nova, Overload, Proximity Mine, Shockwave, Slam, Sticky Grenade, Throw, and Flamer. Last to be discussed are Fire Explosions. Fire Explosions are also very rare, as they too require the target to be killed by the detonator power. Fortunately, Fire Explosions are the most damaging of all the power combos, so a well-crafted Fire Explosion chain can be used to clear groups of enemies with startling ease. Fire Explosions also deliver a flaming effect to enemies near the explosion. Fire Explosions are primed using Flamer, Geth Turret Flamethrowers, Incendiary Ammo, Incinerate, Inferno Grenade, Sentry Turret Flamethrowers, and Homing Grenades. These effects can then be detonated with these powers: Arc Grenades, Biotic Charge, Carnage, Cluster Grenade, Combat Drone Death Explosion, Concussive Shot, Decoy Death Explosion, Energy Drain, Frag Grenade, Incinerate, Lift Grenade, Nova, Overload, Proximity Mine, Shockwave, Slam, Snap Freeze, Sticky Grenade, and Throw. Now that we know how power combos are made, let's get to how they deal damage. The damage of a power combo is based off of the total rank of the power used, so a level 6 warp detonated by a level 6 throw will do more damage than a level 3 warp and a level 3 throw. This means that it doesn't matter what damage powers do by themselves, only the rank of said power. Because the damage is based on the total rank of both power used, a level 5 primer comboed with a level 3 detonator will do the same damage as a level 3 primer and a level 5 detonator. This means that any equipment used to increase power damage will not affect the damage of the explosion. While some powers can be primers or detonators, they can't be both. So Reeve will not detonate another Reeve, even if they had different players cast them. There's one exception to this rule: Smash. If the proper evolution is taken, Smash can either prime either a Tech Burst or a Biotic Explosion. This effect can then be detonated by another person's Smash. For every other instance, though, the primer and detonator cannot be the same power. I should note, when a combo is created, the detonator does damage and applies any effects, then causes the power combo. Some powers have evolutions that allow for increased damage for detonations involving that power. This evolution is highly recommended for any class that plans on using power combos, or for any team support class. If this evolution is taken for both the primer and the detonator, the bonus powers stack. So 2 powers with 50% bonus combo damage will give a 100% increase, effectively doubling your damage output when using those 2 powers together. One thing I do want to include is that the visual cue of a primer can be overlapped by another primer. This does not mean that the first primer is gone, just underneath it. This is most common on warp targets being hit by an overload. The warp effect isn't gone, it can still be detonated after the overload. This means that the warp followed by an overload can be detonated by 2 throws, causing a tech burst followed by a biotic explosion. This isn't very well known, however, but can be used to great effect with the proper teammates who are also aware of this strategy. Another great combo is overload, followed by warp, then a throw. The warp will detonate the overload and leave its own effect, which can be comboed by the throw. 3 powers, 2 combos. I mentioned it before, but teamwork is very powerful when using power combos. A Drell Adept using an area reuse to prime several targets, followed by a Biotic charge and Nova from a human Vanguard can be devastating. I saved the best for last, though, a tidbit straight from Eric Fagnan himself. The reason why power combos are so great, even on higher levels, is because they deal what is called normalized damage, meaning that the damage scales with enemy health instead of remaining the same like weapons or melee attacks. This means that power combos are extremely effective on higher difficulties and boss enemies. To review, power combos require a primer and a detonator. They deal damage based on the total rank of the 2 powers used. Fire and cryo explosions require the target to be killed by the detonator or for the explosion to go off. Primers can also stack, don't hate the overload. Lastly, combo damage scales with difficulty, making them extremely useful. Well, that's all for today, viewers. Hope today's episode wasn't too long. Regardless, join me next time in my future guides. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos in the future. Gilgamesh out.